Welcome to the Church Communications Podcast, powered by Church Visuals. We believe that effective communication is integral to leading your congregation and community. Join Katie Allred and Carl Barnhill each week to dive into insights and strategies that will help you grow your church. Whether you're a pastor, a church leader, or someone interested in maximizing your communication to make a difference, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the Church Communications Podcast. I am joined by Carl Barnhill. Carl, how are you doing?
Excellent. How are you?
I am doing well. And today we don't actually have another guest. Carl is the guest, which is really fun. He's been my co-host this time around. We've enjoyed having him. So, Carl, welcome to the show as the guest this time.
Double duty today. Do I need to have like a co-host hat and then a guest hat, or
yes? Please ask yourself questions.
That would be kind of awkward
because that would be great.
Okay. So you're just gonna go away right now, and it's just gonna be me. Is that what you're saying?
It's just gonna be you talking to yourself for the next 30 minutes or so.
Okay.
That's my hope, and everybody's like really looking forward to it. Actually, it just really reminds me of that. You're talking about different hats. Isn't that a scene in Andy Griffith or something? Or is it I Love Lucy, where like they go into a town and there's a person who's a mayor and they put on their sheriff hat and then they're like, I'm the judge too. I don't know. There's definitely somebody's going to tweet me and tell me classic show.
I'm one for nostalgia. I love nostalgia, but I think you're reaching too far back for me. Like okay, I can do 80s all the way, but when you reach back to Andy Griffith and I Love Lucy, the details are going to get a little bit more fuzzy.
It's funny because I feel like I'm showing my age, but I think I'm younger than you, Carl. So
you are, but I guess that you're at night watching TV Land a lot more than.
I loved TV Land when I was a kid, so yeah, that was probably me. Actually.
What's hilarious is watching the shows that we watched as kids now on TV Land. Now that. The home improvements and stuff like that. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's like Everybody Loves Raymond and Home Improvement and stuff like that.
Do they have an app?
That I don't know.
Are you telling me that I could be watching TV Land right now?
You could. Now, whether they have their own streaming, I don't know that. So you might. We're definitely cord cutters. I'm sure both of us.
I'm intrigued. So yes. I'm gonna have to get into that. But on that same note, today we're actually talking about video content in your church and how it can be utilized to enhance the worship experience. And I wonder. I can remember when my church first got screens. Didn't have to wheel in a TV, to watch a video together. And that was only recently, like in 2009 or so. And wow. The church I grew up in. Yeah, the church I grew up in was pretty laggards in getting screens. And yeah, it was very much of the devil. But now, I think they love video and those kind of things, and I think they appreciate it. But can you maybe share some examples of churches that have successfully utilized video content to really engage their congregations and what we can learn from their success?
Yeah, I would say that, if you're not using video, you're behind. That there's just no other way to put that. If you do not have screens in your auditorium playing media content on those screens, you are just you're probably fully know about TV Land, and it's very you're behind. And so I would say media content is it's an interesting thing with video because you want to utilize it, and obviously I own a company that is graphics and video. We thrive on helping you with your visuals. Mm-hmm. But ultimately we know it's the Holy Spirit that does the saving. Ultimately it is the preaching of the word and the community of believers that makes the church. So it's not, but but visually we can help you. Your media content can help you visually communicate the gospel. So a couple of ways that churches can do what?
It can help you tell stories.
Absolutely help you tell a story, help you give visual context to what you're preaching about, help you, reach people, keep people engaged, all that sort of thing. So some ways that you can use video in your worship experience is through every element. So I would say your pre-service, I think your pre-service is an area that is really underutilized. That and the countdown, I think, are really underutilized, though, we kind of know that people do come in that first upbeat worship song. But for the people who are in the room, your pre-service video and your countdown video should have videos of your leaders giving announcements. It should have promo videos of things coming up. It should show footage of the life of your church. It should show outreach opportunities that your church has been involved in. That's real estate in your worship. Instead of getting up in your host time or announcement time talking about 15 announcements that nobody's going to remember, I would shift 14 of those announcements to the pre-service or the countdown area and try to just have people, have it in a loop there so that people can get that information if they need it, and then keep your host segment down to very minimal. So I would say pre-service and countdown, motion backgrounds during your worship, if you use that, sermon bumpers, lyric videos, environmental projection, all ways that churches are using video content, media content on their screens.
Okay, so environmental projection, what do you mean by that?
Yes, so
for those of us who are not as techie.
Yeah, good question. So this is if you have maybe a large LED wall that spans the entire back of your stage, or if you have LED elements, arranged in a different way on your stage. These are more, they might not necessarily be content like story content on those, but it could be abstract shapes, motion backgrounds, like a conference that Luke McElroy, a buddy of ours, runs at SALT. They had a gear theme last year. So their environmental projection, their LED walls had a bunch of gear-related content that really added to the space. So it really helped, using projection, it helped create the environment.
Yeah, I think it also just helps tell the story and make you feel like you're a part of it in a different sort of way. Yep. I've seen some really creative uses of that with even Vacation Bible School for kids.
Correct.
And those kind of things.
Yep.
I think it just makes you feel the space differently. I think it's part of the storytelling aspect of it. For sure.
Agreed. Yep.
Okay, but what if you're a church that doesn't have the resources? So maybe you have limited resources or you don't have a lot of expertise in this and you're looking to incorporate video content into your worship experience. What would you do then?
Yes. So are you asking a church that doesn't have a screen? Or are you asking for, we have screens, but we can't afford
We have screens.
Okay. Yeah. So this is going to sound like
then I don't know.
Okay, it's going to sound like a sales pitch. It's really not, because there are multiple media producers out there. But I would say start with ready-made media. This is so we sell this on our website, and then there's multiple marketplaces, multiple other producers out there that you can get really affordable media content from. So that is we sell a product called Series in a Box, or Series Media. And that is everything that you would need for a series. It's your graphic, it's your motion backgrounds, it's your countdown, it's your sermon bumper. It's all of that stuff already packaged together. We've sold them for $59 a pack. So for $59, you're spending $59 for 4 to 6 weeks of content for your screens. So that is a really affordable way that you can look like a larger church than you are, really. And look like you have the budget to create video content. You may or may not, but that is a way that you can, I would say, start there. Start with ready-made content. Then I would say after if you're ready to kind of move a little further, then I would move into custom content. So we do both. We do ready-made. We have a whole ready-made library, and then we serve churches and ministries with custom media, so a custom graphic or custom video. We have some churches that use us for both. So they're going to use us for ready-made, or they might use us for custom, and then they use the ready-made to fill in the gaps. They don't need something custom if it's Happy Father's Day or,
right.
Something like that they might pull from our ready-made library and get content for. So I would say that if you're asking a place, if I have screens and I'm looking for a place to start, ready-made media pre-done for you. Now, the downside to that is a bunch of different churches are using that. But if you're in a budget crunch and need something fast,
it's better than PowerPoint. It's better than a PowerPoint template. Absolutely.
I would not suggest, all respect to the pastors and the secretaries out there, I would not suggest your pastor create his own PowerPoint. I would highly suggest someone with a designer eye, because people do notice. I can tell immediately whether the pastor made his own PowerPoint, and sometimes it could be a big turnoff. Especially if, the buzzword, how do we reach millennials? If you really want to know how to reach millennials, media is a big way to reach them. And if your stuff looks like someone else made it that doesn't have a design eye, to put it very politely, then they'll know and they'll see it.
Hi, it's Katie Allred, and I want to tell you a little bit more about churchcompro.com. ChurchCom Pro, we are really excited about this membership offering because it's going to be different from anything that we've done before. We're excited to professionalize the industry, to give back to this community that has given us so much. And so the membership, it includes courses on church communications, my foundational course on church communications that goes along with my book. Through that course, you will create a communications plan. You will create a crisis communications plan. You will create a social media plan. We will walk you step by step on how to do that, how to audit your communications and how to audit your website and how to build a website step by step. But then what's really cool is we also have other courses, like that we have a ChatGPT mastery courses for churches, as well as certification, and we are planning so many more. I'm really excited, and I hope that you will join us. It's going to be $29 a month, so less than $1 a day, so that you can learn more and grow with us, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there. How do you feel like the use of video content has changed in recent years? Are there emerging trends that people should be aware of, even if maybe they're at the top of doing this?
I mean, yes, there's definitely some kind of font, kind of patterns and things that, this is an interesting question in that, I mean, there's kind of a standard of what looks good, but there's also some subjectiveness to what looks good on screen and what doesn't. So it is kind of a taste thing, which is where some creatives get kind of bogged down in a church because, my pastor just doesn't understand the design eye. And some of that has some truth to it. Are there trends? I mean, motion graphics is the trend, I would say, if anything. That if you're not incorporating motion graphics, you're probably a little further behind. Now, I'll maybe say it like this. On our team, I always hire motion graphic or motion designers to do our video work. I don't hire video editors. Here's why. A motion designer can do both. I know myself as a motion designer, if you're skilled in motion graphics, you can cut video. Does not work the other way. If I'm a video editor, I don't necessarily know After Effects and know motion design. So I always hire motion designers because they can do both. So I would say the trend is motion graphics. I hope that answers your question.
The trend is doing some motion graphics. No, I think that's good. Okay, so if I was a church that started doing this today. What kind of like, outside of obviously having a screen, are there any skills or any like, is there any, I don't know, equipment or anything that I need to like really get started outside of like having screens and a projector and a computer?
I mean, you need a screen, you need a computer, and I would go with a Mac computer in your space. Macs are
Yeah.
made for this type of thing.
Mhm.
I mean, if you really know what you're doing on a PC, go for it. But I would say Mac, and I would say a solid presentation software. I
Mhm.
recommend 3: ProPresenter being 1, Easy Worship, and Media Shout. So I recommend those 3. ProPresenter is going to work on Mac. You're going to
Yeah.
struggle with Easy Worship and Media Shout. But you'll need a PC for those.
Yeah.
So I would say screens, solid computer. Now I would say go and spend the money on a good machine. I get a
Yeah.
lot of like, well, we can have somebody's laptop that they can take back and forth. No. I would, or we don't
Yeah, I
have
would say too, it needs to be it needs to be a standard, like not laptop computer. It needs to stay
agreed.
there.
It does need to be a desktop computer. It also needs to be able to handle what you're doing. Like I get a
Right.
lot of like, well, this Mac computer is $1,500, $2,000, but we can
Yeah.
get this thing right here for $500. Well, I think
Right.
that's a big mistake because it's like buying a clunker. I mean, it could get you from point A to
Point
point
A to
B,
point B.
but it's going to be very rocky along the way, and you're probably going to end up spending a lot more money doing maintenance than you are if
Mhm.
you just spent the money on the front end. So I would
Yeah,
rather
it's
you
gotta be really
do
nice.
I'd rather you do a bake sale on the front end and I
Yeah.
mean, if you're going to do a capital campaign for something else, I mean, this is part of if you I mean, is church only on Sunday? No. Obviously the church
Right.
is during the week, but you're probably going to have a worship service. In fact, the churches, I'm going to rabbit trail. I promise I'm getting back. The
No, you're
churches
good.
that I've seen, that's like, well, we're just going to meet twice a month because people only come
Yeah.
once a month. I've seen those type of churches. Big church in Philadelphia, for example. I've seen those type of churches come back to every Sunday.
Mhm.
So there is a worship service probably going to at least one going to happen on Sunday.
Right.
This is the biggest, if not one of the biggest gatherings that your entire church is at.
Right.
This is not the area to skimp
Yeah.
on the
Resources.
computer that shows the content to the entire congregation.
Yeah.
This isn't an affiliate thing or anything. I'm just telling you,
What, are
you
you
need to.
getting paid by Apple?
I'm getting paid by you, I thought. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Don't you work for? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I don't work for Apple.
No,
But yeah, no, I agree
this is not the
though.
place to skimp. I would say spend money.
So I did 3 summers of camp as a production director, and we had one of those standard iMacs, an iMac desktop. And we also had like another one for like the video person. Like they could have said like, oh, well, we're already sending you with 1 computer. Like that's pretty strong. Like why would we need to send you with 2? And because you might say, oh, well, the video person's computer can also be the computer that we use on Sunday morning. And I really just think that honestly, it's just not good practice. And I know you might say, well, it's only been used once on Sunday morning. Yeah, but think about all the other times that people come in. There's funerals, there's
You're
other
going on
gatherings.
vacation. You need to take your laptop with you on vacation for work.
Right, and
It's
like
all those
who's
things.
gonna have the computer? Like I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems
Yep.
like there's
No.
so many things that could go wrong there
Yep.
that it seems like it makes a lot more sense to invest in like you said, in upfront and get the better computer that is standard, specifically just for media for the church.
So I would say in general, if we're going to ask the question, like what is the most common mistake that people make when it comes to using video, is I would say trying to cut corners and save money. This is an area where I would buy a good machine. I would buy a good presentation software, and I would either hire an in-house team that can do really good content or outsource to a team of people that can make really good content for you. This is an area that I would pour some funds in to make sure that you're good to go. I see a lot of churches that try to. I always put it like this: you try to have a Ruth's Chris worship service on a McDonald's budget, and it just does not work. So I mean, I would, so they're always trying to, well, we can save here and save there. And yes, there are areas where you can save. Your machine is not one of them. Your presentation software, not one of them. Your content, there are areas that you can use ready-made that's cheaper, and then custom on the big things like that. Mm-hmm. But I would say machine and software, don't skimp on.
That's good. So I think this is my final question. How can churches effectively distribute and promote video content to reach a wider audience and maximize its impact? So how can we get the word out more with the video content that we have?
I think one of the most underused, maybe I'll answer it like this. I think one of the most underused pieces of or places in a church that we have the gold mine of content is the sermon. And so I would say if I am on staff at a church, if I could see the notes from the pastor's sermon or a video recording of the pastor's sermon, that's going to give me a whole lot of content to work with to go beyond Sunday. So I can make social media posts from them. Let's say some of that's text-based. I can clip up that sermon. I can use services that will clip up that sermon. Right. I can't. I mean, I would definitely. You could have your pastor do quick daily devotion videos based off of the sermon. Yep. So I would say use your sermon, because if you're doing a series and you're pouring all that energy into making that series and preparing those messages. Please use them. Get as much legs out of it during the week as you possibly can. Sure. There's such a gold mine there. And I haven't met a pastor yet that's like, hey, pastor, you have 45 minutes on Sunday. If you had 4 hours, like, do you have enough content that could cover a couple hours? All of them say yes. Yeah, I'd love to expound more on. Well, during the week is your opportunity to expound more on. And it doesn't have to be your senior pastor. You could have campus pastors that are using the same passage but are doing a daily devotion, a short podcast.
Yeah, and I mean, there's small group leaders too that are doing the same thing, right? They're talking about the sermon throughout the week and those kind of things. So how can we create content with that? I mean, I definitely think there's a lot of different ways that we can go about doing that instead of it just all coming from the senior pastor too.
Yeah, so, and I would say there's some AI tools out there. I mean, I want to be careful promoting AI because you definitely need to tweak it and make sure that it is your voice. But things like Opus Clip, you can dump your YouTube sermon right into Opus Clip and have 25 clips that you can tweak a little bit, and you can use those for social. So don't feel like it's going to take you tons of time in order to repurpose your stuff.
Right. No, I think that's really good. So, okay, Carl, you are a first-time comms director. What do you do as your first item of business at your church?
If I'm a comms director?
Yes.
Church that has screens. What's the first thing I do as a comms director? I probably have a meeting with my senior pastor and my leadership team, and I figure out what we're trying to accomplish. Like what is the vision? What are the goals? What do we want to see people do? If it's a vague, like, well, we want to see people grow in their relationship with Jesus. Okay, what does that look like? Give me 10 practical ways that you see during the week that people are growing deeper in their relationship with Jesus. Pastor.
That's good.
Okay, well, they're in their Bible for themselves. Okay, check.
Yeah.
They're in the Okay, now how can I build a strategy to hit those types of things, to help people during the week and on Sunday hit those goals. So that could be, okay, Pastor, if we're going to hit this goal, if we want people to go deeper in the Word, then I need you to commit to doing a short podcast every single day, or batching it, whatever, based on your, like, in order to hit that goal, I need a teaching pastor to do this, whatever. But I would say that's the first thing that I would do, is get a checklist goal sheet on paper.
No, that's really good. Yeah, I think I agree with that. Like, where are we going? Mm-hmm. Yeah. What exactly are we doing? Where are we going? Okay. So if people want to connect with you and learn more about you, Carl, how can they do that?
Yes. So churchvisuals.com is our website. So feel free to check us out there. We just did a big rebrand, moving from 1230 Media to Church Visuals. So Carl@churchvisuals.com is my email. And our website is churchvisuals.com. There you go.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Carl, for being on the podcast today. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
And of course, if you have church visual needs, you have different, videos and stuff that your church needs, I think you should reach out to Carl, because he's one of the best in the business. So thanks again for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Thanks for joining us for the Church Communications Podcast. To learn more and get more resources for your church, visit churchcommunications.com.